future of the auto industry is increasingly electric and connected. And so to remain competitive and to realize our potential, we must develop the entire value chain for next generation vehicles, harnessing Canada's exceptional capabilities in auto production, including the world's greatest workforce, including globally recognized parts suppliers and leading-edge research and development. We'll combine these strengths with new battery supply chains that will power the future of mobility, reinforced by Canada's IT expertise, world-leading AI and robotics technologies, to position Canada as a global leader in vehicle electrification and autonomous technologies. In the coming weeks, our government will unveil a new electricity strategy to double, I'll repeat, to double our grid capacity, to modernize our infrastructure and to deliver electricity that's more reliable, more efficient, crucially more affordable for Canadians. This will enable Canadians to adopt low-carbon technologies such as electric vehicles while supporting the electrification and growth of our industries. With our deep talent. Yeah, thank you. With our deep talent, our research strengths, our innovation ecosystem, we can lead the development of the connected and autonomous technologies that will shape the future of transportation. We will prioritize diversification, including new opportunities that will be created by Canada's defense industrial strategy to strengthen the industry and its supply chains while leveraging our existing trade agreements around the world. Les travailleurs
Workers and industries in Canada are well placed to seize this opportunity. We are realizing generational investments, including industry that is essential to construction, to guarantee our space in the supply chain, which is the biggest in the world. Canada will be one of the only countries in the world to have everything needed in supply chains that are complete for batteries and electric vehicles. And we have a strong electric grid, to 80%, and the lowest residential electric rates and industrial rates in the G7.
So we have everything we need to take the lead in the vehicles of tomorrow. And we're positioning Canadian workers and businesses to seize that opportunity. And that's why today we're announcing a series of strategic investments that will shape the future of mobility and advance manufacturing in Canada as part of a coordinated plan to build a stronger, more competitive, more independent country. Our strategy rests on 5 pillars. First, accelerating investment in Canadian auto manufacturing. Second, rationalizing emission reduction policies to focus on the outcomes that matter to Canadians. Third, strengthening domestic demand by making electric vehicles more affordable and reliable for Canadians. Fourth, establishing a comprehensive trade regime that strengthens the competitiveness of our auto sector. And fifth, protecting Canadian auto workers from the immediate pressures while helping them bridge to the future. So let me get into a few of those details, and I'll take questions. First, we're accelerating investment across the auto value chain. To support strategic investments by our companies, we're dedicating $3 billion from the Strategic Response Fund and $100 million from the Regional Tariff Response Initiative. This is capital that will help our businesses respond to those trade disruptions, help them pivot their operations, retool plants to increase productivity, invest in advanced manufacturing, and expand into new markets. In line with our Buy Canadian policy, the government will leverage these investments to maximize opportunities for Canadian suppliers, Canadian-made goods and services, including in steel and aluminum. We're also implementing the most comprehensive investment incentives for the auto value chain anywhere in the world. The new productivity superdeduction will reduce Canada's marginal effective tax rate on investment to 13%. That's more than 4 percentage points lower than in the United States. That means and let me be clear, this is very broad. It means businesses can immediately expense 100% of their investments in manufacturing machinery, in equipment, in buildings, in zero-emission vehicles, in clean energy equipment, in scientific research and development, in productivity-enhancing assets, including patents, data network infrastructure, computers, and beyond. Further, in addition, because this is in addition, to accelerate investment across the low-carbon mobility value chain, we're implementing the Clean Electricity Investment Tax Credit. We're expanding the Clean Technology Manufacturing Investment Tax Credit, and we're including a wide range of critical minerals. And we are reducing the tax rate for zero-emission technology manufacturers so they benefit from 1/2 of the normal corporate tax rate, and that is before these deductions. Put simply, we're making Canada the best place to invest, the best place to build, the best place to build clean. Our second pillar is to adapt our emission reduction policies to focus on outcomes. Canada will set a new, more ambitious, sovereign path to reduce automobile emissions. We'll drive down emissions by more than doubling the stringency of Canada's vehicle GHG standards by 2035, achieving the equivalent emissions reductions of a 75% EV adoption rate. We won't stop there. By leveraging new investments in EV production, consumer incentives, and charging infrastructure, we'll work towards achieving the equivalent of a 90% EV adoption rate by 2040. The more stringent emission standards will enable the Government of Canada to repeal the Electric Vehicle Accessibility Standard, so-called EVAS. Replacing EVAS with those stronger vehicle emission standards focuses on the results that matter to Canadians, while avoiding placing undue burdens on the Canadian auto industry. This approach allows manufacturers to use a wide range of technologies to meet the standards and to respond to consumer preferences in the near term, all while driving EV adoption over time. The third way we will transform our auto sector is by becoming our own best customer. Au cours des 5 prochaines années, les ventes de véhicules électriques devraient représenter plus de 40% de toutes les ventes.
Represent 40% of all car sales. Today, nearly 80% of EVs in the world come from China and the US. Canada cannot stand by with their arms crossed. Electric vehicles are the future, and our government is determined to make sure this future is built by Canadian workers in Canadian plants, propelled by Canadian cars.
In a strong domestic market, and we have a strong domestic market, we can buy what we build. And so the government that's why our government is launching a new $2.3 billion electric vehicle affordability program. Canadians who purchase or lease a battery electric or fuel cell electric vehicle will receive up to $5,000 and up to $2,500 for plug-in hybrids priced up to $50,000. To support the Canadian auto industry, this $50,000 cap will not apply to Canadian-made EVs or Canadian-made plug-in hybrids. And those incentives will only apply to vehicles produced in countries with whom Canada has a free trade agreement. We're also going to make it easier and more convenient for Canadians to charge their EVs, because too many Canadians worry about being able to reliably get charging on journeys, especially in rural and northern communities. To help fix that, we're developing a new national charging infrastructure, a new strategy, $1.5 billion of investment through the Canadian Infrastructure Bank. So wherever you live in Canada, charging your vehicle should become as simple as filling your gas tank. The fourth pillar of our strategy is to establish a comprehensive trade regime that strengthens the global competitiveness of our auto sector. Again, to be clear, Canada continues to favor a zero tariff regime with the United States in autos, because we know that will deliver the strongest North American auto industry. But if the U.S., through the CUSMA review, insists on some form of auto tariffs, we'll ensure that companies that sell vehicles in Canada are strongly incentivized to produce in Canada. And to support this objective, we will explore strengthening our automotive emissions framework through a tradable credit system that would reward companies that produce and invest in Canada. In short, companies that manufacture and invest here would earn credits, while companies seeking to sell vehicles in Canada without paying tariffs would be required to purchase those credits. To
fully exploit the potential of these measures, Canada must lean on its international partners to accelerate new global markets. Canada has already concluded free trade agreements with 51 countries, representing 1.6 billion consumers. Our government is moving in this direction and has already concluded 12 secure trade agents on 4 continents in just 6 months.
Will allow a limited number of EVs from China to enter the Canadian market, fewer than 50,000 a year in a market of 1.8 million cars. This will help provide Canadians with more affordable, energy-efficient options. At the same time, we expect this agreement to catalyze considerable joint venture investment in Canada with trusted Canadian partners to create new auto manufacturing jobs and strengthen the build-out of our EV supply chain. Finally, as we transform our auto sector into a global leader in electric vehicles, we're working to protect workers and businesses today so they can bridge to the economy of tomorrow. We're providing additional income support to workers and to employers through a new work-sharing grant, giving them the flexibility that employers need to retain workers and prevent layoffs. This has already helped prevent more than 3,700 layoffs in the auto sector alone. We're also establishing a new workforce alliance, bringing together industry, labor, training partners to address skill gaps, remove bottlenecks, and catalyze private investment. We're launching the Automotive Task Force to drive coordinated action between our government and the province of Ontario to build the cars of the future. We're breaking down barriers and working together across government, industry, and labor with shared focus on delivery. Ensemble, together,
these new measures create a new strategy that will allow our auto industry to make Canada a leader, global leader in the production of EVs. And we're concentrating on what we can control and help the Canadian auto industry as well as the workers, communities that depend, that need to adapt to be competitive.
When Henry Seth Taylor built Canada's first car, he could not have imagined what this industry would become. The Canadian automakers would assemble the world's first affordable car, the Ford Model T. That Canadian automakers would scale up production rapidly to become the second largest producer of cars in the world by the end of the First World War. That in World War II, the industry would quickly shift almost entirely to military production, producing more than 800,000 military transport vehicles and 50,000 tanks to help win that war. These feats were the result of Canadian determination and ingenuity. They were the product of an industry that adapted, pivoted, and when necessary, transformed. That's what we must now do to build the vehicles of the future. Lower emission, autonomous, more reliable, more affordable vehicles. For a stronger, more resilient, more independent Canadian economy that creates great jobs here at home. That is what we are building together. That is a confident Canada. That is Canada Strong. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.